Alright, so like last night or 2 days ago, whenever I uploaded this, a couple of days ago, whenever it was announced that RDJ was gonna be returning as freaking Doctor Doom. Now, of course, he also played Iron Man, but he wasn't returning to the MCU as Iron Man. He's returning to the MCU as Doctor Doom. Now, I actually heard about this like last week. Like I heard the rumors, and I actually just ignored them because I did not think this will actually come true. Like this is something like you would hear out of a freaking fan fiction. I did not actually think this would happen. I ignored it, and now here we are. We're actually talking about this. This is like actually the most craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. One of the craziest things I've ever heard, like from Marvel and like comic book movie news and all that. Like this is actually like out there from like when Hugh Jackman was announced to return as Wolverine. Like this was crazy. Like I went crazy over this. Like this was just so much to process. Now, today I'm gonna talk about like basically the pros and cons of what I think RDJ as a Doctor Doom will bring to the MCU and like his last remaining two movies. I'm gonna talk about like what's the good stuff and what's the bad in it. So like if you whether you agree to disagree, just comment what you think. And so I'm gonna talk about the one of the pros, and that pro is that this generated hype. Like this got people talking about Marvel the way that Marvel wanted people to talk about him again. They didn't just come from like going from Deadpool and Wolverine and then coming to this. It's like this is what Marvel needed. They wanted that hype again. They needed something that was gonna make people talk about it again, and this is what it did. It got people talking about it, and this is what they wanted. Basically, Marvel is winning right now. Whether you hate them or not, you gotta admit that they are winning. They got what they wanted. They're talking like they got millions of people going crazy over RDJ Doctor Doom, and they're making a bank over Deadpool and Wolverine. Like Marvel is winning right now. Like, yeah, come on now. I think that's one of the pros. It's like it generated hype. It got people talking about it, whether you like it or not. This got people talking about Marvel like way past like it has been like in the last couple of years. One of the cons of RDJ as Doctor Doom for me personally is the fact that there is no more Kang Dynasty and no more Kang story. Which, let's have a moment of silence for the Kang Dynasty. Rest in peace, Kang Dynasty. You could have been an awesome movie. You could have had great action directed by the guy who did Shang-Chi. You could have had a great cast. You could have had an awesome villain and told his story and all his multiverse stuff and time travel. And you could have been an awesome movie. And Kang could have gone down as one of the best comic book movies villains of all time. Rest in peace. Alright. I was actually one of the few who was intrigued in that, like in that story in Kang the Conqueror. Like maybe that's just me. I know a few people were, but I was actually like very intrigued about that. Like I was kind of excited, and I actually like Kang, even though he was kind of beaten by ants. But it don't matter. Like they could have brought him back. They could have made him 10 times cooler, 10 times more powerful, 10 times more badass, and he would have worked. I think he would have worked. But a Kang recast wouldn't have generated as much hype as freaking RDJ as Doctor Doom. So it is what it is. I know for some people this might be a pro, but for me this is a con. Alright, another pro is gonna be the fact that RDJ as the main villain is also gonna bring a little bit more of an impact if it was someone else who we had never seen before in the MCU. Like we go from RDJ being the MCU's biggest hero, and now we're going for him to being the MCU's biggest villain. I think that's poetic as heck. Like he played the first MCU hero, and now he's gonna play the last MCU villain. I think that's just kind of cool. I think the fact that after Secret Wars, the MCU is gonna reboot and it's gonna do all of this crazy stuff. New universe, new characters, recast, and all this. So Secret Wars is basically the last MCU movie as the MCU as we know it right now. So yeah, I think that's poetic as heck. It also adds like an emotional stakes with the Avengers fighting Doctor Doom. And when they reveal who's under the mask, they're gonna see that it's the guy, the face of the guy who saved their universe. Especially Spider-Man is gonna see the face of his mentor. It's gonna add a little bit more emotion there. And also the audiences, everyone who grew up, especially me who grew up with RDJ playing the hero, and now we're gonna see him play the villain. It adds a little bit more sauce, like sauce. They're cooking. I think they're cooking personally. But yeah, I mean, they're cooking. I think this could actually play out very cool. If done right, it could be like very, very, very cool. Like it could very much be up there with Infinity War and Endgame, if not greater than those movies. But yeah, I'm hoping they cook, because if they don't, then I don't know why they did this. But it could, again, it could work. I think it could work. And another con would be the fact that there is no Doctor Doom in the main MCU. Like for the last couple of years, there have been so many theories, so many cool theories, the speculation of where has Doctor Doom been this whole time. Like maybe he's been like in the shadows this whole time, planning things, and like he's the one behind the curtain, like maybe behind some stuff and all this stuff. And I think that would have been so cool if we saw that Doctor Doom was actually behind this in the MCU and he was actually there and there, like in the shadows, planning. But nah, he's never. No, he's not. Only he's never been in the MCU. He will never be in the MCU. But like the one Doctor Doom we're gonna see is actually from like an alternate universe. Like that's kind of disappointing. I think I would prefer if they did Doctor Doom in the main MCU. I think personally that would have been so much better. But I'm okay with what we're getting if it works. But again, I'm disappointed that it's not like an actual Doctor Doom. I think that's a huge con. But after Secret Wars, after the MCU just gets rebooted and all that, we'll probably get like a proper Doctor Doom. And I guess we're just gonna have to wait a little bit more longer than we thought. Like if you make a time machine and I go back in time and meet my 5 years ago self and tell him, yo, who do you think is playing Doctor Doom? And he would have never guessed RDJ. Like that would have never been one of the guesses in a million years, in a billion years, in infinite years. That would have, like, what about universe, freaking what if possibility universe, multiverse they now really living in, where they cast Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark as Doctor Doom. And I can 100% say though that RDJ will be the best Doctor Doom of all time. Like nobody will come close of anybody we've seen so far. Like I'm just saying, like nobody has told me this, but I can 100% say like he will be the best Doctor Doom on the big screen. Like I'm just saying, like no hate to like the last two Doctor Dooms, but they were just not it. But I have a feeling that RDJ will be the best Doctor Doom we have seen so far. Alright, in conclusion, I think that RDJ as Doctor Doom is a okay, decent decision. I kind of do see what they're cooking, and I'm actually kind of getting like goosebumps just imagining RDJ as Doctor Doom fighting the Avengers, fighting Spider-Man, fighting Hugh Jackman, Wolverine. I'm actually getting excited about that. I think if they cook with this movie, it'll be good. Like if the movie's good, I honestly don't think a lot of people will have a problem with it. And if they do this well, then yeah, it could work. It just like if they do this bad and the movie's bad, then yeah, that's bad. Like if that happens, then this was a terrible decision. But like the movie's probably gonna make a lot of money with the decision now. But like I do hope the movie's good. I pray the movie's good. I hope the movie's good, man. But overall, give me my final like conclusions. I know it just kind of went kind of fast, but like it's like 3 a.m. right now. I just kind of wanted to give my quick thoughts on this because I really wanted to talk about this. But overall, I kind of see what they're cooking. It could work. If you ask me, yeah, it could work. I do understand though why like a lot of people are not excited by it. But yeah, if you ask me, I think it could work. Anyways, leave your thoughts. What do you think? Like, is RDJ gonna be a good Doctor Doom, or should they gotten someone else, or like should they not have done Doctor Doom and they should have stuck with Kane? Which personally, I do think they should have done Kane. But yeah, goodbye.
None lay hands on Doom.